You kind of have to repeat your riffs and melodies a little bit in order to make it so that the listener truly connects with your song and riffs. But just because you have to at least sometimes repeat those riffs and melodies throughout the song, it doesn't mean that you can change them at least a little bit so that you don't take the essence out of the riff and you don't take the vibe out of the riff, but every time it comes along, it becomes a little bit more interesting. Like in the case of my latest release song, Fossil, which if you haven't, you can and should go check out anywhere you listen to your music at. I was working on this main riff of the song, and I figured out this little break, I guess, in the melody where you do a more scalar run to make it a little bit more intense to get to the next section of the song, or to repeat the riff depending on where you're at. And while I was sketching down my ideas for the song and for the whole riff, this was my first idea, which shows up in the first repetition of the riff. Which, like all things, are debatable, but I think sounded pretty cool. And as I kept developing the rest of the song and all the other riffs and melodies, I was pretty sure this would be like the main riff of the song, and I would then have to figure out other riffs to be the verse riff and the chorus riff. So I worked around trying to figure out those, and when I was assembling everything together, the next time I played the main riff, I don't know if I was distracted or got the riff wrong, or maybe it was just some sort of divine Cthulhu-ish intervention. I played the riff exactly the same, but when it came to that little scalar run, I kinda stretched it a little bit out. Which again, isn't really anything fancy, and if you look at it, it's kind of like a typical guitar player shape thing to do, because on the first run, you're just going over the same frets on the 4th and 3rd strings, which are notes that belong to the scale of F sharp minor, where this riff takes place in the key of. And on the next repetition, we start out again on the 4th and 3rd strings, but we move to the 2nd string as well, which gives us again notes of the F sharp harmonic minor, and that harmonic minor note makes sense because we're over the chord of C sharp 7. And yeah, in this case, it is a typical guitar player thing to do, where you just move it a string down and you feel like it sounds kind of cool, so you just keep it up. In the second time that we play the riff, the listener is already used to that melody and riff because they've heard it before, and in this way you even subvert their expectations a little bit, because even if only subconsciously they're just expecting to hear the first version, but you then throw a little bit of extra spice in there. And I think that makes the listener more engaged with your song and a little bit more interested in it. And looking at the whole song, I played the riff in 2.5 different ways, but you can go even further and change the riff either slightly or perhaps in more obvious ways every single time you play it if you want to, but the more you do it and the more you change it, the less the listener might connect to it. Oh, and I said 2.5 different ways because on the third repetition of the riff, I just do the same variation of the scale run where I go to the 2nd string, but I kind of change the orchestration of the other instruments to make it feel a little bit more intense, so the notes are still the same, it's just the rest of the song that changes around it. Which sounds like this, but you should probably listen to the whole song to really feel the vibes and connect to the riffs as the song goes on. In case it wasn't obvious already, go check out my latest release song, Fossil, anywhere you listen to your music at, and don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, turn on all the notifications, follow and stay tuned for more because I'm releasing new songs every week and I'm releasing new videos every day, twice a day. If you enjoyed this one, I'm sure you'll like the other ones too, so perhaps even share them with a friend who might also enjoy them. I want to once again take the time to thank you guys so much for all the support in these songs and videos. I can only thank you guys so much, but it really means a lot and it really makes a difference. I can only hope to see you in another video, but until then, cheers!